1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty.
So I did it again. We have here a bunch of new books that have been added to my collection. I will preface that all of these, yes, all of these with the exception of one was either thrifted or gifted, and the one book that I purchased, not even at full price, I found a coupon for it, and it was because it's one of my all-time favorite series and I want the second book in the special edition to it. Let me know down in the comment section if you guys can guess which book from which series it is. But before I start, hi, hello, my name is Mimi and today we are gonna go over all the books that I have acquired for Q2. I'm kind of excited for a lot of these actually. Like a lot of them are high priority reads or reads that I know for a fact that I'm going to be obsessing over. So I can't wait. I'm so excited. Let's go into the two boxes first because, you know, I want the boxes out of the way, and I think, well, the books in these boxes are stellar, guys. It's gonna be the highlight of this video. That's not to say that I don't love these other babies, because I do. But, you know, when there's a special edition involved, like the special edition wins. I'm sorry. Am I picky? Yes. But you know what? We're all human. I have things that I like and I like pretty things. So first up, I'm gonna move everything over and we have two boxes here. This is actually not a Fairy Loot box, but in fact, it is a box from a fellow booktuber. It's from Melanie at a dark corner of the library, and she is a queen, y'all. First of all, her 1-year booktube anniversary just passed, so I would greatly appreciate it if you guys can head over to her channel and let her know down in the comments, happy 1 year on booktube. And as part of that, or I don't know if it was part of that, but we were just chit-chatting, talking. She was destashing some of her books, the books that she has already read or books she has duplicates of, and she was gracious enough to give me some of the books that I have, you know, been eyeing, books that I have been very interested in reading, and she packed it up in a little Fairy Loot box. And this actually came end of May or maybe early June, I don't quite recall, but seriously, y'all, this was such a gift. I actually filmed a true unboxing of this and I was over the moon. I was emotional because I was just not, like, the past quarter, it was not my quarter. I say this, I feel like I say this every now and then, but do you ever feel like this year, 2025, has just not been it? Yeah, anyways, I'm gonna get opening this box. It's already been opened. I know what's in it, but I have put it back into the box so we can all experience the joy together. So here we go. Are you guys excited for what the box is going to be? I should probably move this. I don't want it to fall over. Okay. Moment of truth. Okay, the first book she gifted me is a gorgeous edition of To Kill a Shadow. It is stunning, beautiful, with sprayed edges. This is a special edition book. This is either an Owl Crate or a Fairy Loot edition, and gorgeous design. We even have a back to it, and if I recall correctly, there are end pages. I am right. And the end pages are to die for. I mean, I am nothing but a simple woman. I am a sucker for, you know, when they're mid-fight and the female gets the lead and they pin the male to the ground or pin them to the wall. That's my kind of trope. I mean, if you know what kind of romances I read, if you know what kind of fantasy I read, well, you know, this artwork eats. It slaps. Let me see if there's an artwork in the back as well. There is. I think these are the two leads. I'm gonna gently remove the dust jacket so that it doesn't get ruined. So the other end page looks like this. Gorgeous. The inside with the purple foiling. Beautiful. And this is the back with the front of a girl on a horse, and it says A Tale of the Gods. Pretty sure this is going to be a first book of a series. I'm really excited to read this. Even more stoked now that I have a special edition to display onto my shelf. I also left the little postcard as she included for me with a really cute note. By the way, I love you, Melanie. Thank you so much for gifting me these books, and I am so glad to have met you down in Southern California. Hopefully we'll have like a real thing planned with maybe a video attached next time I go down and visit her, because I'm not saying I kind of sprung it on her, but I sprung it on her because my husband sprung it on me that we were going down to Southern California. So, you know, it wasn't my fault. Now, I was gonna say we're moving on, but we're not. I think I still have to show you the inside of the cover because it's a flipped dust jacket and the inside is looking like it's a map of an area. This is not a map. Yeah, this is not a map. This looks like a scene in the book. Maybe that's where the trials are gonna be, or maybe, I don't know, it looks like some kind of camp I don't know. I don't know what it will be like. I don't know what this is going to represent, but let me know what kind of reader you are. So as I'm putting the book away, I guess I'll talk. So I know that some people can really imagine fleshed out character details and maps and everything. And I think there's like a terminology for it and there's different levels to it. But my friends and I were talking about this. Like if I said, close your eyes and imagine an apple, can you see the apple in front of you? Can you sketch it out with your brain? Not bringing it from memory, but actually visualizing it and being able to spin around and doing like a 3D dimension look. My friend who's actually a civil engineer who's in like architecture and stuff, he says like, y'all can't do that. Like I have to do that for my plans. And I was like, bro, I can't even like fully visualize the apple in front of me if I did that. So for me, I really enjoy having character arts because it really helps me solidify what that character is supposed to look like. Like I'll bring it to the forefront of my mind when I'm reading the scenes. And yeah, I feel so bad because sometimes you can tell an author fleshes out like a really beautiful scene. And I'm like one of those people that's just doing copy and paste of random things that I have in memory. And it's not stitched together well sometimes. Like that's how I imagine things, and I am truly jealous of those who can like fully visualize everything. But the fun for me is the romance, the fun for me is the banter, and the fun for me is the connection between the characters and the adventures they go through. I may not be able to fully enjoy it as like a visualized way, but I enjoy it similar to how a friend would tell me a story and I get to kind of just like be along with the ride and be along with the vibe, you know? So I don't know where we have that tangent, but I just want to bring it back to saying that that's why I love books with character art so much. I do not like human implied characters. So I don't know why. I just don't like covers with humans on it. I just personally feel like I like the degree of separation with art. I feel like once you bring a human into it, it's a little too realistic. I'm sorry, it's just too realistic. I can't handle it. Now, the next book that Melanie gifted me is Gifted and Talented, and this is a book I'm so excited to read. Let me show you guys the edition. Here's the front. The back is He Never Loved Us, He Used Us, and this is the family. Oh, this family slays. They eat. They're beautiful. Now, this is a book from Olivie Blake. And if you guys know, I read a recent book from her back in 2024, and it was One for My Enemy. And personally for me, the book was difficult to get into. And I talked about it in my little wrap up, so you guys can go watch it. But in essence, she has a really beautiful way of writing, but that way of writing wasn't it for me for that one particular book. I do know that she changes, like the way her writing and her form and flow changes throughout the different books from the other booktubers that I watched. And all my other booktubers are saying that this book is really good. So I'm really excited to read this. I also think it helps that this one isn't marketed as romance. I think if you went into One for My Enemy completely thinking that it'll be close to a romantasy, that's a little bit of a bait. I think you need to think of it more as a mafia battle between the family, Romeo and Juliet family style, rather than like a romance. So that might have been my bad. But yaps aside, I think I showed you guys the sprayed edges. The actual book cover is this beautiful maroon with Ghost Begets Ghost, and the gold foiling, beautiful. I love the little details of the characters. I wonder where and if they play into the book somehow. So we have like a little chemistry sign, we have a smiley face, an American flag, ballerina shoes, and broken light bulbs. I am really curious to see how this plays. The back says, the truth is you can fall from grace at any time. Do I know what this book is about? I think I have a good idea about what this book is about. A basically billionaire tech father, CEO, dies, and his whole family is now, I think, doing something with the money. Wow, that is a really good synopsis, Evie. I think they fight over the money somehow. So let me show you the inside pages. We get character arts of the family. Oh, I don't know if I showed you guys this. The back is the family sitting. So like the front, you see their fronts. And then the back, you see their back. Oh, that is beautiful. That is honestly, truly beautiful. Let me quickly read you guys the synopsis. Where there's a will, there's war. Thea Ren, the brilliant CEO of Renfair Magitech and so-called father of modern technology, is dead. Any one of his three telepathically and electrokinetically gifted children will be a plausible inheritor to the Renfair throne. Or at least, so they think. I'm sensing there's gonna be sibling rivalry. They're gonna fight over basically the will and the inheritance money. So excited. I love that. If it kind of follows the same kind of writing as One for My Enemy, I think I'm going to really like it, because I really like the rivalry and the fighting and the inner plotting and scheming in One for My Enemy. But I think I spent too much of the time just hoping and waiting for the romance to happen, and like it's a Romeo and Juliet. So yeah. Anyways, I think there's also, oh, there are end pages. Okay, are you guys ready? Oh wow, yeah, definitely sibling rivalry to the extreme. To the extreme, because we see a car on fire, a suitcase on fire. They're all over the place. Okay. Oh my god, what a hunk of a man. I'm sorry. I apologize for my gooner. We have, I'm assuming, the two sister, and we have the brother here. Okay. I'm really excited. I think I'm gonna try to get through this pretty soon, probably in Q3. I might buddy read this. I'm not 100% sure. I messaged Jessie, or I talked to Jessie about it, about potentially buddy reading Gifted and Talented, but we will have to see if she's available and if I am mentally ready for some reading, because y'all know, like, I think in June I read 3 books, 2 if you do not count a manga. So you guys already know that my reading is downhill. Like, it is no bueno, no good, and I feel really bad because I haven't been able to fully keep up with my buddy reads because I've been in such a slump, such as The Adventure of Huckleberry Finn, and I was like a whole month late to The Book Thief, and I feel really bad for that. So I kind of just want to take a month or 2 to myself. I just want something that'll make me happy. So I think for Disability Awareness Month, I am currently reading Not My Type. There's no werewolf. It is not the knot that you are thinking of. It has to do with BDSM instead, and honestly it sounds kind of fun. It brings awareness to disability because our main female lead is in a wheelchair. I don't really know what the story behind that is yet, but we're gonna find out as I read the story. So that's a book that I'm really interested in reading, that I'm currently reading right now. Well, now we have a mail from HarperCollins. Did you guys guess what book this is, by the way? If you guys haven't, last chance, because I am gonna try to open this. Well, keyword being try. This is the book that I bought brand new, full price, but slightly discounted because I found a coupon, and it is the only book I bought, quote unquote, full price for. Are you guys ready? Because I'm not. Okay. I'm so excited. This is one of my favorite fantasy series so far, but disclaimer, I haven't read many fantasies, but I am really excited to add this to my collection, and it is The Dragon's Republic. What a beautiful, beautiful edition with the sprayed edges. If you guys read The Dragon's Republic, we are set a sea, we're on the sea, so the waves are absolutely beautiful. What do I want to talk about? The Dragon's Republic, if you guys did not know, is the second book of the Poppy War trilogy, and I can't say much without it being a spoiler, but just imagine War College gone to war. This is absolutely stunning and beautiful. Oh my god, the inside. Y'all, this might be the inside. Yes, the inside is it. Excuse me, this little wave, I just love the simplicity of it. The cover also has a texture to it. I don't know if you guys can see the texture, but it is like kind of like a woven texture. I don't know how else to describe it, but I just love the simplicity of it with just one little print, the tidal wave, and then the R.F. Kuang's name at the side or at the bottom. Gorgeous. The inside, we see a phoenix, and then it's looking like it's a ship. Then what about the other back end? Yes. This one is supposedly a depiction. I'm assuming this is a depiction of Nesha, gorgeous man that he is. If you guys know, you guys know. I love Nesha, but this is not a romance book. I am sorry. I apologize for anyone that I have deluded into thinking there's romance in this book. I sincerely apologize, okay? But in my defense, I have no defense. I think I just crossed my eyes and I just deluded myself into their romance, because technically there's like a lot of subtext, and I think R.F. Kuang even said like, yeah, there's romance in this, but it is not for the weak heart. If you're going in it for romantasy, it is first and foremost and only fantasy, and then romance, you know, it's just romance just exists because as human being relationships exist. It's kind of that vibe. And then of course we have the spine. I didn't show the spine for the other ones, but the spine is the spine. And here is the full artwork of the front cover. Absolutely stunning. The inside doesn't have anything, it's just blue, but that's fine. I can't wait. So I do have this. So I do have the Poppy War. I do have my Poppy War copy, and I'm really excited now I get to add the Dragons Republic to it. When the third book comes out in this format, I am absolutely going to be picking it up. Which, speaking of which, I actually bought this on TikTok Shop. It was, I'm not gonna lie, is it a little sus? I don't know. Like, I don't know. I guess it's not a reputable seller right now, even though it's technically directly from HarperCollins. It's just weird to me that I could buy stuff on TikTok. So I was really afraid about if it was going to come and what would it come with and what it will look like, but I'm glad to say it is safe, it is sound, and it is beautiful. Now, we have a little bit of books left. So I did stop by the Little Free Library when I was down in Southern California. I did a whole little video vlog about that. And the first book that I picked up at the Free Little Library is The Red Queen. And I don't actually know much about this, but I do have one of her books in my TBR pile, which is Realm Breaker or Blade Breaker. And I'm gonna read you guys a little synopsis in the back. Mare Barrow's world is divided by blood, those with red and those with silver. Mare and her family are lowly reds, destined to serve the silver elite whose supernatural abilities make them nearly god. When Mare accidentally discovers a power of her own that she didn't know she had, the Silver King is forced to hide the impossibility of her power and pretend she's a long-lost silver princess betrothed to one of his sons. Arranged marriage? Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Actually, you know what? Hell yeah. I have no idea what this is going to be like. It really feels like the YA fantasy tropes, but if it works, it works. Okay, the next book that I found at the Little Free Library, I was so ecstatic to find, and it is A Man Called Evie. You guys already know, if you guys have been here for a while, I think Fredrik Backman's writing is truly, truly beautiful. I really enjoy the way he's able to tell stories and have us connect with the characters as if we are another person in the town. I think that kind of writing is truly unique and beautiful, and the way it is done is like, it just scratches the right kind of itch in my brain for a literary piece of fiction. And actually, I watched the TV adaptation A Man Called Otto a while back, and I really loved it. So a quick synopsis of A Man Called Evie from what I recall, and kind of like my experience with A Man Called Otto, the movie, is that we have this grumpy, what seems to be like a grumpy old man who is a stickler for rules, and we have this fun family that just moved in next door, and you get to see their relationship and everything build and how their interaction with one another changes each other, and it's all for the better. And it's just a simply moving and heartwarming story while also dealing with conversations of grief and how Evie is dealing with grief and like what caused him to be like this grumpy old man for a stickler of rules. And really excited to read this. I'm not sure if I will be reading this for July. I know I pulled it in my TBR jar, but I'm also kind of want to read an Emily Henry book as well. Like, I feel like I haven't read any romances recently, so I'm itching to read some romances, and it's my TBR, my rules. I'm just flexing it around a little bit. It says a backlog, an author's backlog, and Emily Henry is one of my author backlog. Now, moving right along, we have a book that my husband didn't think I should pick up, but I picked up anyways, and it is The Perfect Divorce. It's actually quite short, and it is a special edition with the bloody sprayed edges. I read The Perfect Marriage back in November. You guys can see a video about that. I gave it 3 stars. The way The Perfect Marriage was told, again, I have this problem with the kind of path and the trope that I feel like Geneva Rose likes to write in, and I don't know why I picked up another Geneva Rose book. But if I already read the first book, I kind of want to finish the series, and I'm also curious how you could go from The Perfect Marriage to The Perfect Divorce because of how The Perfect Marriage ended. Because I'm not gonna say that The Perfect Marriage had like a conclusive ending, but it did. So I'm wondering, I'm really wondering what it's gonna be with. That's just my curiosity, and I'll probably end up giving this back to a Little Free Library once I finish it, but I'm just curious. So moving right along, the next 3 books specifically were from my husband's library, and the first one being Article 5, Compliance is Mandatory. I'm gonna read you guys the back because this is a YA dystopian that feels a little bit scary and a little bit with the times right now. Federal Bureau of Reformation, Office of the President. The Moral Statute of the United States of America. Article 1. The United States embraces the Church of America as her official religion. Article 2. Literature and other media considered immoral are hereby banned and shall not be owned, bought, sold, or traded in any capacity. Article 3. Whole families are considered one man, one woman, and children. Article 4. Traditional male and female shall be observed. Article 5. children are considered valid citizens only when conceived by a married man and woman. Are you guys already seeing some similarities in this? Because I'm not saying it's eerily similar, but you know, I believe this is focused in LA, California. Okay, no, I apologize. New York, Los Angeles, and Washington, D.C. have been abandoned. The Bill of Rights has been revoked and replaced with a moral statute. There are no more police. Instead, there are soldiers. There are no more fines for bad behavior. Instead, there are arrests, trials, maybe worse. People who get arrested don't usually come back. I think you guys kind of get the vibe and the gist of things. So this is definitely a book that is YA dystopian, but is really dystopian anymore. Anyways, we're moving right along, and the next one is 3 cups of tea. So here in Pakistan and Afghanistan, we drink 3 cups of tea to do business. The first, you are a stranger. The second, you become a friend. The third, you join our family. And for our family, we are prepared to do anything, even die. An astonishing, uplifting story of a real-life Indiana Jones and his remarkable humanitarian campaign in the Taliban's backyard. And in this book, there's actually photographs of the places that he visited. So I just think this looks like a truly beautiful book to read, not only to learn about their lives and their culture, but also, again, to read out of my comfort zone, and again, to read from a country I haven't read from before. Now, the next one I'm kind of iffy about, and it is The Grapes of Wrath, and it is a John Steinbeck book. This is a classic literature. I think this is from the early 1900s. Let me double check. First published in 1939. So is it considered a classic? I feel like it would be considered a classic. And what do I have to say about classic books? I recently just finished The Adventure of Huckleberry Finn, and that was something else, y'all. Like, I don't know. I know that Renee at Beyond Books and Daniela at Uncommon Reader are planning to do a video on it on July 17th, so make sure to check that out. I don't know if this video is going to come out before then. I think it is, so make sure to check out those videos when they upload it. But for me, I'm not sure if I want to do a video on it because I'm not sure of how I feel about the book. The very surface level, I struggled really hard to read it because of the Southern dialect and the Southern slave dialect. And then on top of that, I just didn't see the, I guess, amazingness of the book. I mean, I can see it, but I also can't. It just wasn't the best read for me. I struggled through it a lot, and I'm still 50-50 debating on whether or not I want to do a video on it or not. So there's that. There's that for you to look forward to, maybe. Not for my video, but for their videos, and they'll probably talk about what they feel about the books. I gave it a 1.5 stars. Now let's move on to the rest of the books that I purchased. All right, the last section of this book are books that I purchased secondhand, either from the thrift store or the Friends of the Library sale, with the very first one up being a book I literally dug high and low to find, and it is The Handmaid's Tale. Now, The Handmaid's Tale, let me quickly give you guys a synopsis. Offred is a handmaid in the Republic of Gilead. She may leave the home of the commander and his wife once a day to walk to food markets whose signs are now pictures instead of words because women are no longer allowed to read. She must lay on her back once a month and pray that the commander makes her pregnant because in an age of declining birth, Offred and the other handmaids are valued only if their ovaries are viable. Offred can remember the years before when she lived and made love with her husband Luke, when she played with and protected her daughters, when she had a job, money of her own, and access to knowledge. But all of that is gone now. A funny, unexpected, horrifying, altogether conceiving The Handmaid's Tale is at once scathing satire, dire warning, and tour de force. I don't know if you guys have heard news recently, but I'm not saying that there is a circumstance that was very similar and reminiscent of the story that they're trying to talk to about in the book of The Handmaid's Tale, but there was. A woman was basically kept alive so that her child could be conceived. It's still weird to keep a woman alive against her family's wishes. To conceive the baby because specifically that state had a heartbeat bill, and I think that if they allowed the baby to pass along with the mother because the mother is no longer alive, it kind of challenges that stance. I don't like to get political on this channel, but at such a time in our society, it's important to call these things out, especially when they're relevant to books to my channel, which are books and books that I read. So I think this was a fantastic find, and clearly the Hulu show is doing something because I have not been able to find a copy of this book where I thought it would be quite easy. So I'm so glad to have finally found a copy, and I'm excited to read through this. It's probably going to be a horrifying piece of fiction that is reminiscent to today's society. Okay, on a lighter note, the next book I was so stoked to find at a little thrift store because it was a very heavily recommended book by Kat at Curious Cat, and it is A Winter's Promise, which is the Mirror Visitor Book 1. Oh my god. First of all, look at the edition of this book. Like, whoever purchased it and donated it kept it in a beautiful, beautiful condition. And second of all, I have heard Kat raved about this book since I've met her on booktube, and I'm so glad to finally have a copy in my hand to read. And let me give you a little synopsis in the back. Ophelia possesses two special gifts: a talent for seeing into an object's past and the ability to travel through mirrors. Her peaceful existence on Anima is interrupted when she is promised a marriage to the taciturn Thorn, a member of a powerful clan from a cold and distant arc, a pawn in a dangerous game that will have far-reaching consequence for her entire world. Ophelia must navigate the lies and machination of her fiance's clan in order to survive the first installment of the internationally best-selling Mirror Visitor series. Okay, the ending was a little bit like, why did they wrap it up like that? But I'm already intrigued. I am very intrigued now by this book, and I can't wait to read it. So many good series. I have so many start of a good series on my TBR pile now, and I really need to get to them. Speaking of good series, the next book I have is yet again another start to another series, and it is The Jade City. Now, I have heard from multiple booktubers that this book is kind of reminiscent, like if you're good and you read the Poppy War, like this is also a good Asian inspired fantasy to jump into. So I am really excited for this book for that particular reason. Like if you liked Poppy War, The Jade City and its trilogy might be a good pick for you. And so let me quickly read what it's about in the back. For centuries, honorable green bone warriors have used magical jade to enhance their abilities and defend the island of Kekon from foreign invasions. Now the war is over and a new generation vies for control of Keklon's bustling capital city. Four siblings of the powerful Kaw family must prepare for battle, and the fragile peace between the clans is about to break. Okay, this is sounding really good. It looks like there is also maybe some subplot romance. You know me, I love my romance in a book, even better. Now I have two final books being in completely different territories, with the first one being a sci-fi and it's called The Measure. This was on my TBR for quite some time actually, so I didn't like none of these books, or like the books that I purchased, none of them were on a whim, okay? And this one was probably an OG book on my list, to be quite honest. And let me give you a little bit of synopsis as to why it intrigued me so much. So 8 ordinary people, 1 extraordinary choice. It seems like any other day. You wake up, pour a cup of coffee, and head out. But today, you open your front door, waiting for you is a small wooden box. This box holds your fate, the exact number of years you will live. From suburban doorsteps to desert tents, every person on the continent receives the same box. Where did these boxes come from? What do they mean? Is there truth to what they promise? As society comes together and pull apart, everyone faces the same shocking choice. Do they wish to know how long they'll live? And if so, what will they do with that knowledge? The Measure charts the dawn of this new world through an unforgettable cast of characters whose decisions and fates interweave with one another. Best friends whose dreams are forever intertwined, pen pals finding refuge into the unknown, a couple who thought they didn't have to rush, a doctor who cannot save himself, and a politician whose box becomes the powder keg that ultimately changes everything. I remember when I first got into books again, when I read the synopsis for this, it completely hooked me. So I'm so glad to be able to pick up this book. I gotta be quite honest, I forgot about it. I forgot about it until I saw it at the library book sale, and I was like, yes, you're coming home with me for $1? Yes. And now the final book I have for y'all is the only one left by Riley Sager. This is going to be my first book from Riley Sager. I think this is a mystery novel, a mystery thriller, if I recall correctly. Yes, it's like a twisty gothic mystery thriller. And Brooklyn at Brooklyn's library, like after we read Gone Girl, this was the book she recommended me and she wanted me to read. So I saw it at the library book sale. I picked it up. Now let me give you a synopsis as to what this is all about. So at 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope. Now reduced to a schoolyard chant, the Hope family murders shocked the Maine coast one bloody night in 1929. While most people assume the 17-year-old Lenora was responsible, the police was never able to prove it. Other than her denial of the killing, she has never spoken publicly about that night, nor has she set foot outside of Hope's End, the cliffside mansion where the massacre occurred. Stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. Oh my god, what is this rhyme? At 17, Lenora Hope hung her sister with a rope. This is kind of dumb. Why am I laughing? Stabbed her father with a knife, took her mother's happy life. It wasn't me, Lenora said, but she's the only one who's not dead. Okay, I expected the ending to rhyme. That was a little bit anticlimactic. It's now 1983, and home wealth aide Kit McNear arrives at a decaying Hope's End to care for Lenora after her previous nurse fled in the middle of the night. In her 70s, confined to a wheelchair, Lenora was rendered mute through a multiple series of strokes and can only communicate with Kit by tapping out sentences on an old typewriter. One night, Lenora uses it to make a tantalizing offer. I want to tell you everything. As Kit helps Lenora write about the events leading to the Hope family massacre, it becomes clear there's more to the tale than people know. And when new details about her predecessor's departure come to light, Kit starts to suspect that Lenora might not be telling the complete truth, and that the seemingly harmless woman in her care could be more dangerous than she first thought. Now, with that wraps up my Q2 book haul. Let me know in the comment section if I should prioritize any of these books, because we have a lot of really good books in this stash. I'm for sure going to be prioritizing the foiled, the decked out, the special edition one first, probably because I want to display it onto my shelf. But for now, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for taking the time to spend it with me. I really appreciate you, and my voice is currently dying, so I'm gonna wrap this up here. I hope to see you guys all in the next video. Bye!